pickup. Both pickups. That's with the tone down. This is through Hughes and Kettner. Put a little bit of distortion into it. Not bad for a 50-year-old Bitzer guitar, is it? And it's great. It's just an amazing sounding instrument. It's actually a Bitzer, and I mean that in the best possible way. It's what we've got is a Teisco body and a Sakai neck. Now, it's possibly a Sakai neck. The Sakai necks, the Sakai headstocks are slightly different shape. They're not as angular here, so I'm not 100% sure. I know for a fact it didn't actually come with the instrument. The reason I know that for a fact is because when I got it, it's actually got what I've actually done is put shims in. So we've actually got a shim on both sides of the neck because there was actually space there. It was held in. It was still fine. But what I've actually done is just put some shims in just to lock it in place. And the other thing that I do with these guitars is the most important thing that I've done with this is I haven't actually glued the shims. Okay, so I've used a very fine piece of cedar. That's what he's after. I've used a very fine piece of cedar on either side of the neck to really lock that neck in place. As I said before, it was still locked in place anyway, just with the screws, but this just stops the neck from moving at all. The other thing that I do with these guitars is that I do notice that the necks tend to sit very flat, and what that means is that there's not a lot of break angle over the bridge. And the other thing that happens is quite often the strings are really close to the pickups. Now, the strings being close to pickups are great, except if they're too close. If strings are too close to pickups, they don't work very well. The magnets end up pulling on the strings and you lose sustain. So what I've actually done is I also put a shim, just like Fender do. I'm not Fender. Just around this area underneath. Now what that does, it's only about 1 millimeter, but it gives the neck a downward angle, which gives a little bit more space over the pickups, and it also just creates a slightly better break angle over the neck, and it's straighter through the neck. So that's just, if you're doing up an old Teisco guitar, just check that out. It's a Teisco or a Kawai or a Sakai or a Guiatone, any of these bolt-on necks. Just have a little look at that. As you heard, it just sounds brilliant. It needed quite a bit of TLC. Someone has tried to hide the wear and tear. Now, I've actually found the wear and tear. One of them is here. But I'll try and get that in the light. Now, it's actually here in this section here. The players played it so much. It's just been played and played and played. this has got a history, this guitar, and I would love to know about the history of the instrument. It has been absolutely played and played. It's got bumps, it's got knocks on it. It is as sound as a pound. It sounds brilliant. It is as sturdy as, quite light, but without being too light. It's you know, it's got its bumps and knocks, but this is a gigged instrument, and the timber that you can see through here. This is all. I've just brought all this up. All I've done with that is just given it an oil just to try and protect it a bit. And he goes overboard whenever I do these videos. I don't know why. He's been quiet for half an hour. It's all attention seeking, isn't it? So, yes, this will be up on the site. I've already got some interest in it. It just plays like an absolute demon. These pickups are bloody awesome. They are just fantastic. Look, don't try and play Megadeth or Metallica on it. It's not designed for that. It's not that type of guitar. But if you want to play a little bit of AC/DC on it, if you want to play some Angels, if you want to play some blues, if you want to just play a bit of jazz even. It's got some funky jazz sounds. The whammy bar is it functions beautifully. The whammy bar is, as far as I believe, it is a fairly new unit. The base plate may, however, base plate may be original because it shows a lot of wear and tear. It may be this top part here, which may be the new piece. Definitely the whammy bar itself. It functions. Don't do dive bombs, and you know it's just great for that little waver. But it's just, yeah, it's a really lovely instrument. The neck is multi-laminate construction. It's probably about 20 or 30 pieces of timber that have gone into that neck, which actually makes it incredibly strong. It does have a truss rod, as you can see, which functions, and yeah, it's a great sounding instrument, absolutely wonderful sounding instrument. If you get it, don't expect it to look like it's just come out of a Far Eastern factory, brand new. It has got bumps, it has got knocks, but to me that's the history. Oh God, look at this. It's also got the checkering coming through from the timber. It's you know, look at that big scratch there. This has got history in it. This is wonderful. Why, you know, I don't understand why you would want to kind of, you know, if you want an inexpensive guitar, this has got history. This is where you go. This is what you buy. You know, this has got mojo. Someone's played this. God knows what songs have been played on this. This is why I love. You notice the little bolts in the back there. There's a dodgy bolt there. Not a dodgy bolt, but it's a bolt that someone has put in. I'm not going to replace that. That's history. That's part of it. What I have replaced, however, were the tuners. This was the pair that came with the instrument to me. These are obviously and they were non-functioning really. You can see that they were not very good. I actually have another. I'll, you know, butcher those. I'll pull those to pieces. And what I've actually got here is another vintage set. This is a vintage set. This is legitimately. This is actually off another. Actually off a Kauai. They all fit. It's all the machining. It's amazing, you know. And so this is period correct. Being that the neck wasn't originally sold with the body, I'm assuming that the neck was damaged or broken in some way. You know, it's whether the neck was broken in the past or for whatever reason someone has replaced the neck. The shims in the neck, as I said, I've left them. I'm not. I try with these instruments if I can to keep them as stock as I can, and in other words, it means that if I've got the guitar and it's got a history to it, I don't want to change that history. I'm not going to refinish this guitar. On the other hand, pause while I come off camera for a second. Sorry, I apologise. But with the other guitar that I've been working on, this instrument here needed to be completely refinished. Someone had decided to paint over it. It was an absolute an absolute bodge job. So I've actually taken this back all the way back to the bare timber, and I'm actually going to be giving it a beautiful stain. I've got some gorgeous stains coming from Crimson Guitars in the UK. I've got a burgundy and a black, so we're going to do a black sunburst. So we're going to do burgundy body, black sunburst around here, black back. So the black will all be it'll be a mixture of the tones again. It'll be my reinterpretation of the colour that maybe this should have been. Originally it was a dark kind of a burgundy colour, but someone just completely trashed it, and it needed to be redone. So it's starting again. The neck as well. The neck has been completely stripped bare, and it'll have a gorgeous oil finish. There's a lot happening as far as retro electric guitars is concerned. With Birdwood guitars, we've got a lot of, basically, if we have a little look over here, there's a lot actually happening, but here you can see we've got Lightning Boy guitars. We've got one over here for a fella named Cameron. He's a very, very cool bloke. We're going to be doing a pyrography on the fretboard, and that's why we've gone for oak, so it really stands out. And here, these are the Monte Cristo boxes, which I'm actually running out of. It's going to get to a point, I think, where I'm going to need to, I think, create my own boxes and make my own boxes, because the Monte Cristo boxes are just becoming too hard to get. And I think that there's about 8 more boxes left, so these may be the last of the Lightning Boys that I do in this particular format. So that's it. That's a bit of a catch up from me at Birdwood Guitars and Retro Electric Guitars, and Prince, who's camera shy for some reason. Okay, all right. Well, have a good one, and all the best, and catch you next time. Bye.